What is going on? Welcome back to my channel. Alex here. I know it's been a while that I haven't posted a video, but I've been actually pretty busy. I was actually hired by a 135 company that flies Lear 40, 45, and 70 and 75s, and I was in type rating school. So you can probably agree that that was priority and not making YouTube videos. As all of you know, I like staying ahead of the game all the time. And actually, before going to type rating school, I did a bunch of research on what should I study before I go and what to expect. I actually found some great videos here in YouTube, but nothing really satisfied me. I feel like I needed to know more. So this is the main reason why I'm making this video, is so that if you're going to type rating school for the first time, at least you have a pretty good idea of what to study and what to expect. Now, just to be upfront, I went to flight safety, so I don't know how other companies do stuff, but I'm pretty sure all of them are pretty similar. What I did is I actually divided the video in 4 different sections, and I'm also going to put timestamps below. So if you're interested in a particular part, you can go ahead and jump to that part. So first, I'm going to be talking about the pre-course preparation and what you should study before going to school. Then I'm going to talk about what to expect the first week and the second week, and then I'm going to give you a brief rundown on what the checkride looks like. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So if you have been recently hired by a 135 operator, most likely you're going to do an in-dock course with them. So they're just going to go over 135 rules and regulations, how the company operates, and all that good stuff. During that time, you should have a pretty good idea on when your first day at type rating school is going to be. So this is actually super important. I didn't know about it, so that's why I'm sharing this with you. But you should have access to flight bag. I don't know what CAE or other companies do, but for example, flight safety, they have a pretty cool app that is called Flight Bag, and it actually gives you all the manuals, the AFM, all the documents that you're gonna need throughout your training. If you don't have access to that, make sure you get it, because I'm telling you, if I would have known this, I would have been way ahead. So now that you have access, let's go over what you need to study. If this is your first time going to type rating school, you need to memorize the memory items and limitations. I pretty much borrowed some flashcards from someone that already went to the same type rating school. So I studied those, but something that I realized is that in the limitations section, not all the limitations were there. So I pretty much studied them. I knew them by memory, and I was like, man, I'm ahead of the game. I'm all good. But then realized that the flashcards may not include all the limitations. So make sure you go in your app or the AFM of the aircraft and go over the limitations section and make sure you study that as well. You don't want to show up to the checkride and not know all the limitations. That is one of the items that you need to know 100%. So let's say you were able to memorize all of that information, and now you're like wondering, what should I do now? Well, the best thing you can do is start going over the textbook, okay? And go and read all the chapters if you can. I mean, it's a pretty thick book. I don't have it here with me, but I'll just put a picture, but it's pretty thick. If you have the time, go over it, and then at the end of each chapter, you're gonna have some questions. Go ahead and answer the questions and see how many you get right. Also, in my case, I'm only a CFI. I didn't have my double I, so I didn't fly IFR much. If that is also you, make sure you brush up on, instrument procedures. Make sure you brush up on jettison, because that's what you're going to be using. Make sure you know how to enter a hold, what the speeds are in the hold, how to brief an approach, know about departure procedures, arrivals, and all that good stuff. Before I forget, this is actually super important as well. When I was flying Cessna and single engine piston aircraft, obviously we didn't have an FMS. So if you don't know what an FMS is, it's a flight management system. So it's pretty much the computer that you just input all the approaches and all that stuff. During in-dock, we went over how to use the FMS. In my opinion, if I didn't do that, I don't know how I would have made it. I'm just being honest. Now, if you are not going to get something similar, maybe ask one of the other pilots that works there and see if you can get in the airplane and try to mess around with it so you're familiar with how to put information in the FMS. That's going to be very helpful. In my case, we were using the universal FMS, and there's actually a great video on YouTube on how to use it. So I'll put the link below if you want to check it out. All right, so we're already in flight safety or wherever you are. And the first week is pretty simple. I mean, you're just going to do ground. You're going to go over systems, weight and balance, performance. My suggestion is that every day of ground school, you go to the hotel, go over your notebook, go over the stuff that you covered. Then what you can also do is start going over the memory items and limitations, make sure you got those down. They're gonna give you a cockpit diagram. And what I would start doing is every time you go to ground school and you cover something, go in the cockpit diagram and go to the system that you were talking about. So if you were talking about pressurization, go to that panel and draw a line from each and every single button that you have and write what it does and why it does it. Apart from reviewing the material you covered, going through the memory items and limitations, also make sure that you cover all the knowledge questions at the end of each chapter, because at the end of ground school, you're going to take a knowledge test and you have to pass it with an 80%. Now, once you finish ground school and you're already taken the knowledge test, now you're going to have some more time to focus on other things, right? So I would suggest that you continue going through the memory items, limitations, systems, but what I also suggest is that you introduce callouts, SOPs, make sure you know the profiles of the aircraft before you start day one of sim. It's funny, for whatever reason, I thought that once I started the simulator, they were going to teach me everything that I needed to know. But the funny thing is, they do obviously teach you, but you should already, like day one, I mean, you already need to be flying this airplane, barking commands to your co-pilot, know how to set up the automation, the autopilot, how to use the FMS, because if you don't, you're gonna be behind. And that's what happened to me. I kind of expected them to hold my hand and tell me everything that I needed to do. So I kind of looked briefly over the profiles, but I mean, it wasn't enough. Like I needed to literally sit down and chair fly. And I didn't do that because again, I just didn't know. In flight safety, they have these ground trainers. It's just a couple screens with all the buttons and all that stuff. Sit down there with your partner and go through all the procedures, call outs, how to set up the autopilot. Make sure that before you show up in the simulator that you already know all that stuff. Also, something I didn't mention before, in those ground trainers that flight safety had, I spent most of my time going through the startup process. I never passed beyond that. So that's also where my mistake was, is that I just did the startup procedure because that's what takes the most time. And obviously, if you have that down, you're going to be able to do a lot more in your first day of simulator. But make sure you go beyond that as well and go through the call outs on the different, on the takeoff, climb out, when you level off. Make sure you know what checklist to ask and what call outs to do. Essentially, the first day, you're going to do steep, normal takeoff. You're going to do steep turns, stalls, unusual attitudes, that sort of stuff. And then every day it gets worse and worse, right? So you're going to start getting more failures, aborted takeoff, V1 cuts, fires, control jams, partial panels, smoke in the cockpit, generator failures. So you're going to be pretty busy to the point that, in my opinion, the checkride was the easy day, because all of those sim days, you're just busy. If you're the co-pilot, you're just running through the QRH and checklist and all these different things. And just like my instructor said, I mean, simulator is a pretty emotional process. I mean, there's going to be days that you're going to do good, and there's going to be days that you're not going to do so well. And I really had to dig in pretty deep inside and cheer myself up and find motivation to just keep going forward, because I had this one instructor, he was ex-military. I mean, he was, Alex, what are you doing? yelling at me, stuff like that. I mean, that's okay. I mean, he really shocked he really shocked the system. So I was busting my butt off to prove him wrong. So, but yeah, I mean, at least for me, it was a pretty emotional process, and I had to like look up motivation speeches and stuff like that to just keep me going. But you know, just remember, I mean, other people have done it, so there's no reason why you shouldn't. Just make sure that you prepare yourself. Like, don't go into type rating school thinking that they're gonna hold your hand and they're gonna teach you everything you need to know there. Yeah, I mean, they will, but it's just so fast paced that you need to prep before you even go there. If not, you're already behind. And also, once you go through ground school and you start the simulator, you're gonna have a lot of time to study. I mean, the simulator is only gonna be 4 hours out of the day. So, you know, if you have something in the morning, you know, you might be done by 1 p.m. You have the rest of the day to study, okay? So, and just relax as well. I mean, you're gonna need to relax and decompress because there's a lot to cover. Now, I feel like we all go through this, but as the checkride date starts approaching, at least with me, I start getting pretty nervous. What I suggest is that day before the checkride, just take it easy. I mean, I'm telling you, checkride day is going to be the most easiest day throughout the whole course. Like, if you don't know what you already need to know by then, it's already too late. So just take it easy, relax. If you want to go, you know, for the last time over your notes, do that, but just take it easy. All right, so let's talk about what to expect in the checkride. They're going to go over memory items, limitations, weight and balance, performance. If you're going for your ATP, they might ask you more questions. You can go in the ACS to find out, you know, what they could ask you. I think they will go over regulations, high altitude flying, high altitude aerodynamics, weather, that sort of stuff. And then the simulator ride, it doesn't matter if you're a commercial pilot adding the type rating or an ATP, is going to be done to ATP standards. So the ACS is going to cover all the things that you're going to do. You're going to do 2 precision approaches, 2 non-precisions. One of them is going to be normal, and when I say normal, is with 2 engines, and then you're probably going to do the rest with 1 engine. You're going to have malfunctions in the air, maybe a fire, a partial panel, you know, your flaps may fail. You're going to have to do a no flap landing, circling approach, a hold, a single engine go around, 2 engine go around. So that's pretty much it. I would love to hear from you guys. I want to know if what I said was exactly how it went down. If there's anything that you would like to add, please comment below. I want as much information so other people can benefit from it, because I don't want anyone to go through what I had to go through. I might be a little bit dramatic with it, but I don't know. It's just, I don't like going to the unknown. I like knowing everything that's going to happen so I can prepare for it. And I just was not prepared for it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I'm going to be posting some more stuff about, you know, my flying in the Lear. And I will see you guys in the next one.